Hello friends, welcome to my channel. This is Charan. In this video tutorial, I will explain how to insert records into multiple tables at a time in MySQL Django web application. Now this time we'll add Peter pet@gmail.com. The phone number, student marks is 55, 78 and 25. Let's insert records. Insert records. So here we got a message that student Peter is saved successfully. Let's check in the database table also. Let's browse this table, click browse. So here we got the Peter details. And the marks also will check. In the estimates, click browse. See? That's it. If you are a first time visitor to my channel, please subscribe to get the latest updates. Before creating a Django web application to insert records into table, first in PHP MyAdmin database, which is MySQL server, I'll create two tables and one store procedure. Now I want to create a tables in this sample DB database. Let's browse this table. And right now this database contains around 47 tables. Let's create our new tables here. I'm selecting SQL tab and write the create statement, create table. The table name is the student details, is the first table name. Let's add some columns to this student details. The first column is the ID, integer type. I'm adding primary key and it's an auto increment column. And the second column is a student name is varchar 100 and student email varchar 100 and student mobile, which is the integer type. Just for the demo purpose, I am adding only few columns in this first table, student details. Now let's create a new table, another table, create table, student marks. Now here the student marks, ID, integer type, primary key and auto increment column. Comma, marks 1, integer type, marks 2, integer type, marks 3, integer type. And this student marks table also, I'm adding only 4 columns. Now my aim is I want to insert the records into these both tables at a time simultaneously with a button click event using store procedures. So let's create these two tables, click go. And here we got the message, a table has been created successfully. Let's browse these both tables. A table is the student details and student marks. Let's browse this table. I'm opening in a new tab as well as the student marks also. Open link in new tab. And here we got the results of this student details. Right now this student table details contains 0 rows. Now the second table, and here we got the results of this second table. Right now this student marks table also 0 rows. Now to insert records into two tables, multiple tables at a time, we require one store procedure. So let's create one store procedure in the same sample DB database. So notice in the sample DB there is a procedures folder. Browse that, right click the mouse, open link in a new tab. And here we got, right now in this procedures folder there are a few procedures, store procedures. To create our new store procedure, come to the bottom, add root and click that one. And the details, let's fill the routine name, which is our store procedure name, is a student sp is my store procedure name. and the type is a procedure. After that, the parameters, notice the direction is a in direction. I'm choosing in because we are inserting the data, and the name here is a parameter. From the first table, we have 4 columns. In the student details, we have 4 columns. The ID column is auto-generated column, so I'm not adding for parameter. Let's copy the student name, and student name place here, and the type is, the data type is a varchar, and the length is 100. Parameter, the second data type name is a student email. Copy that one and paste here. The parameter name is a st email, varchar, and the size is 100, and the name of the parameter for the student mobile, st mobile. And notice here I'm adding my column names and the stored procedure parameter names, both are same, which is the integer data type under the mobile name. I'm not adding any length for that. And from the second table, which is a student marks, the ID is the auto-generated column, so I don't require that one. Let's copy the marks one, paste here, add another one, the marks 2, and the last one, the last parameter is a marks 3. After that, we require the definition, which is our insert statement. Before that, we need to add the begin and end statements. Now insert this begin and end. Let's insert the records. Insert into the first table name is student details. Copy that one, paste here, and the column names, the student ID column is the auto-generated column, so don't require, and we require the student name. Copy that one, student name, student email, and student mobile. Values, the parameters we're getting from here, so value student name, student email, and student mobile. Make sure you do the exact column values here, add the semicolon, and second table is the insert into, the second table name is the student marks. Copy that one, paste here, marks 1, marks 2, marks 3, values, marks 1, marks 2, marks 3, and end with the semicolon. That's it. Let's execute this procedure. Let's execute to create this stored procedure. Click go, and here notice the student SB has been created successfully, and also notice the student SP has been created successfully. So after creating the tables and stored procedures successfully in the sample DB database in PHP MyAdmin, and now we require the coding part. Now before creating a Django web application, first we'll create a new folder in this local disk D drive. Right click the mouse, click new, select folder, and the folder name is a student details marks is a folder name. Let's browse this folder. Right now this folder is empty. Now let's create a new Django web application in this folder. I'm using Visual Studio Code to create the Django web application. First we'll add the folder name which we have created. Let's open file, click open folder. The folder name is a student details marks in the local disk D drive. Let's select that one and select folder. The folder is added to our Explorer panel. At the right side there is a welcome page. Let's close this welcome page. Right now this folder contains empty. Now let's create a new web application, Django web application in this folder. Go to view, select terminal. Now in this terminal, which is a command prompt, notice the path is the d:\, is our folder name. Now let's create a new application in this folder. Django hyphen admin start project st details marks insert. It's my application name. And notice the application student details marks insert has been created successfully in this folder. Let me expand this app. And this app, there is a one subfolder with the same application name and one manage.py page, which is a Python file. Let me expand this subfolder, and this subfolder contains some default Python pages like URL, settings, and these all Python files has been created automatically when I create this project st details marks insert. Now after creating the project, next we require one templates folder to render our HTML pages on the browser. So for that, select the application name, click new folder. The folder name is a templates, and these templates I am adding the HTML file. Right click the mouse, click new file, index.html, enter. And here we got our index.html. Now in this index.html, let's add doc type. I'm closing the HTML tag. Now inside this HTML, I'm adding the header section. In the header section, I'm adding the title tag. Title is insert records into multiple tables. Now after the header section, I'm adding and the body tag. Inside this body, I'm adding center tag. In the center tag, I'm adding h1 how to insert records into multiple tables using store procedures. Just Django, Python, web tutorials. After the headings, I'm adding the horizontal line. Now, after the horizontal line, I'm adding a simple table element with a border 1. Let's close this table element. In this table, we have the table rows and table data. In the table row, the first one is this td is a small td, small td. First one is a student name. The student name td, input type is equals to text and a placeholder, student name. Let's close this element, and next tr td email, td input type, text, placeholder, enter email, the small td. What I'm doing, I'm copying this part. We require the mobile marks 1, marks 2 and marks 3. Let's add this one is a student mobile. Enter mobile number, and marks 1 and marks 2 are from the second table. So let's add that one. Marks 1, enter marks 1, marks 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, marks 2, and this is the marks 3. Enter marks 3. So after the TDs, I require one horizontal line. After the horizontal line, I am adding one simple button control. Input is input type is equals to submit, and the value of the button control is insert records. Let's close the button control. After that, I am adding another horizontal line. Up to now, we have just finished the designing part in this HTML page. Now we require the coding part. First, we'll save this HTML file, save all. And the coding part, in the project, there is a one subfolder called student detail market. Right click that one. Click new file. Let's add the file name models.py. Enter that one. And here we got the models.py page. Now in this models page, we'll create a class which contains the properties. So before that, we require one class name, models class name. So from Django.db import models class. Then let's declare a class, define a class, and the class name is a student insert is a class name. In the student class insert, let's add the models.model colon. Let's declare the properties. The properties we need to add from these both tables. Now we require the properties for the student name, student email, and student mobile. Let's copy the student name, copy the one, and create a property. Student name is equals to models.char field. The data type is a character, so char field max underscore length is equals to 100. And the second one is a student email. Copy this one, paste here. Student email, the type also same, and we require the student mobiles. Student mobile, copy that one and paste here is equals to mobiles dot integer field. Now we require from the second table, from the student marks 1, copy that one, marks, we require this integer field, marks 2 and marks 3. That's it, we have created the properties in this class. Now let's save this file, save all. Now we require the views page to write the coding part, and also we have to call this models class also. Right click the subfolder, click new file, the class name and the file name is a views.py, enter. Now in this views.py, first let's add the necessary classes here from Django.shortcuts import render class. The render class is used to render our templates, the HTML templates on the browser. And the second class from Django, we require the models class also. This models page is in our application name. So let's copy this application name dot models. In this models we have our class name student insert. Let's copy that one and paste here. After that, we require the connection class also from Django.db import connection. Now let's start the coding part. For that, let's define the function def student insert. Insert is a function name, request colon. Now in this function first, if request dot method double equals to, we are posting the details. So the method is the post method, colon, enter, if, the small if, request dot post dot get method between single quotes. Here the get method, we are getting the details from the text box element. First one is the student name. So in the input element, let's add the property called name between double quotes. This is very important. We need to add the name, the student name. The student name, let's add the student name in this views. So the text box element name and here the request.post get method, both must be same. And we require 5 more get methods, 3, 4, 5, 6. And switch to the index.html. Let's add the name is equals to, here the name I am adding student email, copy that one, student email. Here in the views, student email, and the index.html, name is equals to, for the mobile, student mobile, paste here, and in the views is the mobile. And now we require the marks also from the second table. Let's copy this marks 1, student mobile is marks 1, and in the index also we require the marks 1. Name is equals to, between double quotes, marks 1, and name is equals to marks 2 between these double quotes. This is the marks 2. And name is equals to marks 3. So add this marks 2 and marks 3 in these methods, marks 2, and the last one is the marks 3. And we don't require here and just add and with semicolon, this if condition. After that, let's create the object variable to access the properties from this student insert class from this models page. So here I'm adding save, object name is a save record, REC is equals to student insert the class name. Now save rec dot, the first one is the name, student name is equals to, I want to save the student name details from the text box control. Save rec dot student email is equals to request dot get, which is a student email. Student email, save rec dot student mobile is equals to student mobile, save rec dot marks 1 is equals to, it's not student mobile, so it's request dot get marks 1, copy this one and paste here, marks 1, save rec dot marks 2, copy this one, paste here, this is marks 2, save rec dot marks 3 is equals to marks 3. That's it. And now we have to execute to call our store procedure. For that we are using connection class. So let's declare a variable cursor is equals to, cursor is a variable here, connection dot cursor method. In the connection class there is a method called cursor, and this cursor method is useful when we want to execute the SQL statement or store procedure. So once we add the cursor method, now let's call the store procedure to execute. Cursor dot execute method. In this execute method, between double quotes, I'm adding call. I'm calling our store procedure name, which is this student SP. Copy that one and paste here. Now let's add between single quotes, between double quotes, plus plus, comma here. Here the values is the select student name. Copy that one and paste it. Now we require the second parameter 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. We don't require the last one comma here. The second one student email, copy this one, student email, and we require the student mobile, and also we require the marks 1, marks 2 and marks 3. That's it. Make sure give here the parenthesis, this one for the store procedure method, and this one is the execute method. Once the execute the store procedure is successful, I want to display the message the student details are inserted successfully. For that I'm using the messages class. Let's import the messages class also from Django.contrib import messages. Now let's add the messages here. Messages dot success method. In this success method I'm adding the student plus plus. The student name we are getting from this savereg.st name. Is saved successfully. Once the message has been displayed, this function returns render. I want to render our template index.html. For that I am using the request. The first one is a request. Between double quotes I am adding index, our template name, which is the index.html. Then in the else part, the else part is for this if condition. I am adding the same thing in the else part. That's it. Let's save this file. Save all. Now we need to configure the URL patterns. Open urls.py, and this urls.py, notice the URL pattern is the admin page. This is the default home page for our application, which I don't require, so I'm commenting with the hash. The path we are getting from the views page, so let's import from dot import views page, and here a path single quotes comma views dot in the views we need to add our function name stinsert, because we are requesting this template index.html, which is our URL. index.html. Now this function, a student insert method, is our home page. Let's save this URLs py also page also. Now the most important, we need to configure our databases, we need to install our application name and the templates. So for that, we open settings.py, and the settings.py, come to the bottom, notice the first one is the application definition, install underscore apps. We need to install our application name. So copy this, our application name, between single quotes, I'm pasting here. Next, we need to configure our templates also. os.path.join method. I want to join, combine the path I'm joining with the base directory to the templates. So first one is the base directory, base dir, comma, between single quotes I am adding templates. Now after adding the templates, next in the databases section, notice the default database is the SQL.3. So here my database is MySQL. So let's add MySQL instead of SQL.3, and the name here, delete this default line between single quotes. Here the name is a database name. Let's add our database name, sample.db. After that, we require the host also, username. First, let's add the user colon, user is the root, comma, and the next one is the password colon. Here the password I'm leaving empty here because I don't have any password to log into my SQL PHP my admin database. If you have any password, please enter between those single quotes. Then the host is a local host. Now we require the port number also for our database. MySQL database port number is 3306. Let's add that one. Between double quotes, single quotes, 3306, comma, and the final one is the options colon, curly braces, single quotes, init, it's a small one, init underscore command colon, between double quotes, I'm setting the SQL mode is equals to, between single quotes I'm adding strict underscore trans underscore tables. That's it. We have configured our databases, templates, and we have installed our application name also in this settings.py. Now let's save this file also, save all. Now the final step, switch to index.html. We have the text box controls and button control, but here after the horizontal line, when we are posting the data, we require the form tag. Form method is equals to post. Form method is equals to post. Let's close this form tag. After the button control, HR, and the most important step here, when we are posting data in Django web application, we need to add percentage CSRF underscore token. This command it protects our data from the hackers when we are posting the data. So make sure add CSRF underscore token. If you don't add this token, it will raise an error. You'll get an error. Then the last step, once the record is inserted successfully, I want to display this message. The student details is saved successfully. So here after the horizontal line I am adding curly braces, percentage, if condition. The message we are getting from this message is class and percentage. Let's close this, and if percentage for loop for display is a variable in messages and close the for loop also with the end for. Now let's define display this variable between curly braces. That's it, we have done the complete coding part. Let's save this file, save all. Now in the terminal, in the command prompt, before run the server, first we need to add our project name to this folder. So cd change folder name, and our application name is student details, marks insert, enter. Now let's run our server python manage.py, this file name, run server, enter. Oops, here we got an error, name mobiles is not defined. Let's check in the models. Oh, oops, sorry, here it's not mobiles, it's models. Models. Let's save this file, save all. So here after we run the server, no issues found in our app, and below that we got our the server URL, control plus mouse click, and here we got the final output of the template. The header tags, below that we got the table with the student details, the student name. Let's insert James jam@gmail.com, and the mobile number is 1234567. The marks is 89, 78 and 99. Now before insert these James details, let's check on our table, the first table student details, and I click browse. Right now this student details contains zeros. And also let's check our second table, and in the student marks second table also there is 0 rows. Now let's insert the James details, click insert records. Oops, here we got some message, success missing one, require optional message. It's not a big error. Let's check our records are inserted successfully or not. Click browse. So here we got the James details, and let's check the marks also. Click browse, and the marks also is inserted successfully. Let's fix this one, the type error. We are missing one required positional argument message. Let's fix that one. And I'll go to views. See here the success method takes 2 parameters. We need to request here. Copy this request here. Parameter first, request, comma, the student's name. Let's save this file. Save all. Again, our server is reloading. Again, we don't have any issues. Let's reload the refresh the browser. Now this time we'll add Peter pet@gmail.com. The phone number, student marks is 55, 78 and 25. Let's insert records. So here we got a message that student Peter is saved successfully. Let's check in the database table also. Let's browse this table, click browse. So here we got the Peter details. And the marks also will check in the estimates, click browse. See, that's it. We have implemented using store procedure to insert records into multiple tables in Django Python web tutorials.